Bhaja Govindam, verse 18. What is Vairagya? Suramandira taru mulanivasah Sayya Bhutalamajinam Vasah Sarvaparigraha bhogatyagah Kasya Sukham na Karoti Viragah. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Sheltering in temples, under some trees, sleeping on the naked ground, wearing a deerskin, and thus renouncing all ideas of possession and the thirst to enjoy bliss. Blessed with such Vairagya or dispassion, could anyone fail to be content? Seek Govinda, O foolish mind. Let's listen to a story based on this verse. A great Mahatma was living as a sadhu under a tree in a forest. He always used to keep 3 stones with him. While sleeping, he used to keep one of them under the head, another under the waist, and the third under the legs, and cover himself with a sheet. When it rained, the body used to be on the stones, and so the water would flow underneath, and the water that fell on the sheet too would flow down. So there was no disturbance to his sleep. He used to sleep soundly. While sitting, he used to keep the 3 stones together like a hearth and sit upon them comfortably. Hence, snakes and reptiles did not trouble him, nor did he trouble them, for they used to crawl through the slits under the stones. Somebody used to bring him food, and he would eat it, and so there was nothing for him to worry about. A king who came to that forest for hunting saw this sadhu and felt, what a pity! How much must he be suffering by having to adjust his body suitably to those stones and sleep thereon. I will take him home and keep him with me for at least 1 or 2 days and make him feel comfortable. So thinking, he went home and sent 2 of his soldiers with a palanquin and bearers with instructions to invite the sadhu respectfully and bring him to his palace. He also said that if they did not succeed in bringing the sadhu, they would be punished. They came and saw the sadhu and told him that the king had ordered them to bring him to the palace and that he should come. When he showed disinclination to go with them, they said that they would be punished if they returned without him. So they begged him to come, if only to save them from trouble. As he did not want them to get into trouble on his account, he agreed to go with them. What was there for him to pack up? A loin cloth, a sheet, and those 3 stones. He folded and kept the loin cloth in that sheet, kept those 3 stones also in the sheet, and tied them together. What is this? The Swami is bringing with him some stones when he is going to the Raja's palace? Is he mad or what? Thought those soldiers. Anyway, he got into the palanquin with his bundle and came to the king. The king saw the bundle and, thinking it contained some personal belongings, took him into the palace with due respect, feasted him properly, and arranged a tape cot with a mattress of silk cotton to sleep upon. The sadhu opened his bundle, took out the 3 stones, spread them on the bed, covered himself with a sheet, and slept as usual. The next morning, the king came, bowed to him with respect, and asked, Swami, is it comfortable for you here? Swami said, Yes. What is there wanting here? I am always happy. The king said, That is not it, Swami. You were experiencing hardships in the forest by having to sleep on those stones. Here, this bed and this house must be giving you happiness. That is why I am asking. The Swami said, The bed that was there is here also. The bed that is here is there also. So I have the same happiness everywhere. There is nothing wanting at any time, either in regard to my sleep or to my happiness. The king was puzzled and looked at the cot. He saw that the 3 stones were on it, whereupon the king immediately prostrated himself before the sadhu and said, O great man, without knowing your greatness, I brought you here with the intention of making you happy. I did not know that you are always in a state of happiness, and so I behaved in this foolish manner. Please excuse me and bless me." After making up for his mistake in this way, he allowed the sadhu to go his way. One suffers not from the world, but from our expectation of the world. Our mind is filled with likes and dislikes, and if the world does not fit into that, we feel disappointed. We blame the world for our sorrow. Without understanding, we renounce the world. We forget that renunciation is internal. One should renounce the mind that is filled with unhappiness rather than the world. Simplicity is not external but internal. When one is internally simple, he will always be happy anywhere. There is no need for such a person to renounce the world. He is always happy because it is from within. He lives in the world but is not attached to it. For most of us, it's our ego which comes in our way, and though we try to renounce externally, the ego within remains. When one is entangled too much in the world, he gets attached to it, and it is not easy to let go. No matter how many external changes he tries, it is challenging to develop that Vairagya from within. Vairagya, born out of Viveka, that is ability to discriminate real and unreal, is detachment. Continued spiritual practices to know the self. This will only make one internally detached. Hence, the Master reminds us again to lead the foolish mind within and not outside. Let's now listen to a story for the students. Saints teach us only what they themselves have practiced. That is why their advice has the power to do us good. The great Guru Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a poor woman among his disciples. One day, she came to him with her son and said, "Gurudev, my son wants to eat sweets every day. This habit is spoiling his teeth, and I also cannot afford to buy them for him every day. My advice, warning, and even beating have been all in vain. Please give him some advice and also bless him so that he stops the bad habit." Sri Ramakrishna looked at the boy, but instead of talking to him, asked the woman to bring him back after 2 weeks. The woman brought the boy to him again after 2 weeks. As both sat down, Sri Ramakrishna kindly looked at the boy and said, "My dear son, is it true that you trouble your mother for sweets every day?" The boy hung his head and said, "Yes, sir," and became silent. "You are an intelligent boy. You know those sweets are spoiling your teeth. Your mother is worried about you. If she spends money on sweets every day, how can she buy new books and good clothes for you? Don't you think you are making a mistake?" Sri Ramakrishna's words touched the boy's heart. He looked at Sri Ramakrishna and said, "Yes, sir," and became silent again. "Then will you stop asking for sweets from today?" asked Sri Ramakrishna in an appealing tone. The boy smiled this time and said, "Yes, sir, I will stop troubling my mother for sweets from today and not eat them every day." Sri Ramakrishna, pleased with the boy's reply, lovingly drew him close and said, "My son, you are a nice boy. You understand what is good and what is bad for you. You will surely grow up to be a happy man." As the boy bowed down, Sri Ramakrishna blessed him and turned to other devotees. After the boy went out into the garden, his grateful mother asked Sri Ramakrishna, "Gurudev, why did you make us wait for 2 weeks to give these few words of advice?" Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, "You see, when you came 2 weeks ago, I too was in the habit of eating sweets brought by devotees. How could I ask your son not to do something which I myself was doing almost every day? So, from that day, I stopped eating sweets. That gave me enough strength and power to advise your son to do what I myself have done." Only when we preach what we practice, our words are full of sincerity and appeal to the listener. All the devotees in the room felt that they too had learnt a great lesson from Sri Ramakrishna. As the story shows, the most effective way to tell others about how to be good or do a spiritual practice is by practicing it ourselves. One must have the conviction and should have practiced the right values before they preach to others. Unity of thought, word and deed is very essential. One should develop these qualities from young age. Parents and teachers should lead the example. When thought, word, and actions are in unison, there will be no confusion, no pretension. It is not easy to lead a double life, posing what one is not. First of all, such a person will not be trusted or respected by others in long term, though initially people will just hear their sweet talks and be carried away. Secondly, they themselves will not be peaceful within, as they are also embodiments of divine, which will remind them that their act was not consistent with their thoughts and words. Jai Sai Ram.